Hey everyone, this is Dan, the frogpondvegpatch, and I'm talking all about dahlias. I wanted to give a quick roundup of the dahlias that I've got growing this year. I have some new ones that I've never grown before, and I've got my tried and true stalwarts of the garden. And so I wanted to go around and show you what's blooming and what I'm loving this year about some of the dahlias. So come along with me, stick around to the end, and I'll talk a little bit about kind of dahlias in general and how we grow them and maintain them here in our garden. So first up, this one is called Inflammation. It's a really compact plant. It only gets about a foot tall, and it has these small, open, reddish orange flowers that as they age out, they develop this dark stripe around, down the middle and pale edges, which I think is really nice. And so next year, I'm hoping to be able to divide these out and get some more plants established. And I also ordered a few more tubers of this kind, good at kind of the front of a border or along a path because they're short. It's something that it's really nice to kind of walk past. This is another example of an open flower form. This is bigger than the one we were just looking at, and I don't know what this one's called. I really like the saturated yellow of these. The bees really like them as well. It's one of the advantages of having kind of that open flower form. It makes it easier for pollinators to get in there. I really do like kind of these types of flowers that you can mix in with the other decoratives or some of the other larger forms. It's a nice contrast. This has been a really fun color to have in the garden. It looks really nice in kind of that late afternoon sunshine as well. This one is another fairly compact form of the single flower. When the buds first open, it has a nice bright red flower, which I really like. Then it fades out and it gets kind of like the petals get kind of streaked with dark and light red. And actually, I really love the way that the flower petals on this evolve kind of as the flower ages out. I think that's one of the nice things, and one of the things I like about some of the dahlia flowers is you get a certain look when it first opens, but as the flowers age, they continue to change and evolve and look good. This is a nice deep red, so a little bit different compared to the other red, which is much brighter. But I like this. I like the form. I like that kind of getting to almost that velvety kind of red, and I like that these are a little bit taller and the flowers kind of stand up. This one here is an orchid style bloom type, and I not only do I not know what this is, I'm not sure where it came from because this isn't a style of bloom that I would typically choose. I don't think, but I mean it's possible. I could have ordered it and not remembered what I ordered. So that's one of the nice things when you mix up name tags and don't know what you have. It's everything's a surprise. And actually, I really like the color, and the form ends up being a nice contrast to the other blooms that I have in the garden. Now this is Japanese bishop, and so I absolutely love the deep dark foliage. And then when it blooms, you get that intense red flower. It's a perfect combination. It's absolutely one of my favorites because it's so different from any of the other dahlias that I have. And I'm definitely hoping to divide the tubers next year and try to grow on more kind of individual plants. Now, there are a couple of dahlias that I've had for a number of years, Picasso and Potluck. I think we've had these for 10, maybe 15 years now. They are really reliable and they both produce a ton of flowers. With Potluck, you literally don't know what you're going to get. It could be from pure white to deep red and kind of everything in between. Some of them look like they've been, dipped in watercolor purple. You get some that are the whole flower is maybe half one color and half another, or you get that variation even on individual petals. And Picasso is similar. Picasso has a more white background with red kind of paint splatters on it. And again, you get a fair bit of variation in exactly how that pattern comes out and to what extent they're white versus red. And I have another one in here called Cha-Ching, which is also very similar, very white flower with that kind of painted marking. Now this one's a bit of a crazy one. The first year I had this, I tried growing it in a pot and it was not happy. And so that was my fault for sure. But the last 2 years I've planted it out in the garden and it's been much happier. And it's a stunner. I love I love any of the dahlias that have one color that's on top of the petal, and then the reverse of the petal is a different color. It provides a really nice contrast, and these are another ones that as the flowers age out, the shape of the petals start to turn. They kind of get almost like a semi-cactus look to them, and they last a really long time before they need to be deadheaded as well. This orange one is called Sylvia or Maarn, and this is a stunning orange formal decorative. I love the intensity of the orange, especially nearest the center, and then it kind of fades out and it gets to almost like a pale yellow at the very edges. This is the first year I've grown this one, and I've been really, really impressed with just how perfect each of the blooms has been when they've opened up, and they've lasting a really long time. I mean, this one has been blooming for the last couple of weeks, and I haven't even had a deadheaded yet. This one's been a really good performer, and another one that I'm hoping to kind of add to the collection and bulk out and get some more of them. I think it's a really, really nice flower. This one is called Daydreamer, and this one actually surprised me a little bit because, well, I had lost the label, but because of how distinctive both the form and the color is, I was able to compare to things that I've ordered in the past and figured out which one it was. It has a very soft and mellow kind of vibe to it, and the flowers are a good 4 inches across. It's a really good size, and it's also been blooming right alongside the Sylvia, and so it's producing fewer, I think, because they're larger flowers, and that typically is what I have found with dahlias in general. The larger the flowers are, the longer the longer it takes for them to bloom, and the fewer ultimately there are. The flowers on this are absolutely gorgeous. So there we have it. There's a roundup of some of my favorite dahlias in the garden this year. I have ordered some new ones, I think, like I mentioned, for next year, even though I told both myself and my partner that I wasn't going to do that. That's what happens when you start growing dahlias. You can't stop. So before we go, I can talk a little bit about dahlias in general. Where we are in Zone 6A here in the Northeast, we do lift these. We lift the tubers out of the ground after we've gotten a hard frost. I do try to cover them with a frost cover if there's going to be some light frost to try to keep them going as long as I can. They get stored over winter and then planted out in the spring after the danger of frost. So around here, it's pretty safe around kind of the end of May, beginning of June. You can start them early by potting the tubers up inside and keeping them, say, under grow lights. They don't really need anything until they start putting on new green growth. And so that's just a way to kind of get a head start on growing before planting out, but you certainly don't have to. Most years, I don't bother. When the weather is suitable, I plant them out. So thank you very much for watching. If you were not familiar with dahlias, I hope you learned a few things. If you're like me and a dahlia lover, maybe you saw some things that you like. And as always, welcome any of your questions or comments. Leave them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, it's Dan from the frogpondvegpatch. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. That'll help us create new content to share with you. And while you're here, check out this next video I have lined up for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. That's the best way to help us out on this channel.